Hey everyone, I have a very exciting show for you today. I have a young lady who has some big goals, and we're going to talk about them. She's leveraging the BRRRR strategy in Pennsylvania. She's shooting for $4,000 a month, positive cash flow, and I look forward to hearing her story. Let's welcome Nicole to the show. How you doing, Nicole?
Doing well. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for agreeing to do this. You know, we hadn't met before, but I appreciate you sharing your story. So thank you for saying yes.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah. So why don't we introduce Nicole and what you and your husband and your two little kiddos do, where you're at, what you do, and we'll go from there.
So we use the BRRRR strategy in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and we mainly invest in the downtown, nicer areas of the city in single family row homes right now.
Okay.
And then we have two young kids, an almost 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and we drag them along with us as well.
That's awesome. You're getting them into real estate early. That's
Yes.
something I failed miserably. So good for you. So I always have a question, right? I talk to Anna and April all the time who invest in that area. How big is Lancaster? I don't even know.
I don't know if I even know how big it is, but
I mean, is it like 50,000 people, 100,000 roughly?
I would think something like that. That's terrible. I don't even know. I love Lancaster because
Okay.
the city
Yeah.
is so neat. There's tons of cool restaurants, and it's really like people are really rehabbing these houses and making them so cool with the exposed brick. And,
Yeah.
it's really a neat town. And I've heard people are calling it like Little Brooklyn because it has all those cool little
Yeah.
boutiques and restaurants. And then like where we live in Lancaster County, and you can be in the country. So I love that you
Ah.
can be like in the country or in the city very quickly and easily.
Oh, that's very cool. So, when did you start investing? When did you and your husband start?
So we got the idea in November of 2018,
Okay.
and we bought our first house in February of 2019.
Awesome. And again, this would be one of those row houses in downtown Lancaster. All
Yes.
right. So let's talk about it. So, where did you find it? Was it on the MLS or what happened?
So yes, we found it on the MLS, and actually I found a realtor through BiggerPockets.
Okay.
And we went to meet with her like out in a more rural area, and she didn't show up. Someone that worked for her showed up,
Oh,
and it ended up being this younger girl who invests in Lancaster City. And we hit it off. She had similar goals to us, and so she became our realtor. She ended up taking me to networking events, helping us
nice.
meet like private money, everything. I mean, we're very thankful for her, but she's the one that showed us this home on the MLS.
Okay. So what were the kind of details and what kind of condition was it in when you got started? What'd you take on?
So, well, at first I thought it was going to just be a boring deal,
Yeah.
but it was only $58,000.
Okay.
It wasn't in the nicest area in the city. We have since sold the property
Yep.
actually, but
Okay.
there were cockroaches.
Oh yeah.
It was, kind of a slumlord probably had owned it. And
Mhm.
so when we bought it, it had a property manager, and we manage all our properties ourselves, but we thought we would keep him and let him get, ask the tenant to leave, give her 60 days because we weren't going to have a property in that kind of condition,
Yeah.
let someone live in that kind of condition.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Slumlords, and they're everywhere.
oh, yeah,
Um, Not good people. So good for you. Okay.
no. No, I mean, we felt bad, but we weren't going to let someone live that way. So finally she left.
Okay.
And then we rehabbed the property. I mean, just a small rehab, like $10,000
Okay.
rehab. Um, and then we were looking for a new tenant, and this all took a while, it took a couple months to get her out. I mean, and during all this, we probably bought a couple other houses actually. We find, once she was out, then we did the rehab, and even that took a while. And we spoke with Section 8,
Mhm.
and they said we could get $1,200 a month for this house. So we put it up for $1,200 a month, which looking back, it was too high.
Mm.
Um, and it was just really hard to find a tenant. The
Mhm.
area wasn't nice. We didn't know the exact roads.
Yeah.
Since then our criteria has tightened.
Yes. No, absolutely.
Um,
Cool.
But So it just was hard to find a tenant. They weren't passing my screening,
Right.
and we finally found a tenant. And I think in a way I should, we maybe shouldn't have let them come in, but you kind of get impatient after a while.
For
And
sure.
they had good landlord references, but it wasn't a good fit. And we actually decided to sell the property because we just had heard that these properties that aren't in nice areas, you end
Mm.
up putting so much money into them, and they can end up really eating up money. And we thought, okay, we've moved on. We've bought other houses in different areas. We're
We've
going to
gotten,
get
yeah.
rid of this while it's still like we're in a decent position with it. And
So there's so
we
much to learn in this first story. So let's talk about the exit first. So I'm guessing you sold it tenant occupied?
we did. However, the tenant decided they wanted to move out. So they ended up staying when the new owner bought it, but they moved out right away, and they didn't pay their last month's rent,
Yeah.
which it was fine with the new owner because they didn't pay us.
Yeah, they wanted it empty. Yeah. Yeah.
It worked out like where they weren't in
Hmm.
trouble, the new owner, or anything
Cool.
either. But
So you bought it for 58, you put 10 in. It was intended to be a cash flow rental. You learned very quickly that just because Section 8 says 1,200 doesn't mean you'll get it. You take a tenant in, it's rough. You decide to sell it. Another landlord comes in. What did you sell it for?
we ended up selling it for 74.
All right. So after transaction costs, you basically broke even.
Yeah, we ended up being into it, I think, for around 10,000
So
in
you
the end.
lost 10 grand.
We did.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm. So,
That happens.
but we figured it was a good learning experience, and in the process, we had gained a lot of equity in the couple other houses we bought. So,
Yeah. So let's talk about that first loss of 10K, because not enough people talk about the losses. And I think the greatest lessons come from losses, right? So we talked about a couple already, right? You got to be a little more careful with area, right? That
mhm.
was something that was highlighted. Um, Saying yes to a tenant because it's been weeks or months of vacancy is problematic, right?
Yeah.
What else? I think everything else was pretty good, right? You bought. Oh, how did you buy? Did you buy it with cash, hard money, bank loan?
It was the only property we bought with cash, and even you just learn lessons like how much closing costs are,
Yeah,
and like everything just adds up. How long it takes for the tenant to get out, and then construction that costs a lot of money.
yeah,
So
yeah. These BRRRR projects, Brandon Turner and team at BiggerPockets do a great job of making it look easy. But when you throw a timeline down, let's just talk about it, right? So you inherit a property, you close, you're the owner, it has a tenant. You probably wait a couple of days and you issue a 60-day notice, right? Well,
mhm.
I don't know about you, but not all of my tenants leave after 60 days. Did yours leave after 60 days?
We've been lucky so far.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good. So they left after 60 days. It's now vacant. Now you've got to go through, you got to bring contractors in, you got to get bids, you got to do this. They say 2 weeks, it takes 4. They say 4 weeks, it takes 6.
Yes.
Now it's done. Oh, by the way, the property's been vacant. You could have break-ins. I don't know if you suffered any break-ins. I've seen break-ins happen in vacant properties before. And then you put a tenant in because it's been empty and you're showing and not meeting tenant, and no, you can't say yes to anybody. And okay, we'll take you, right? And there's just a lot in that, right?
There is. And our main lesson was location,
Awesome. So let's talk
because
about that.
we want to target, and what we're doing now is we really target tenants like we were like 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago,
Okay.
um, young professionals that maybe their next step would be buying a house.
Okay.
That's who we've been targeting now, and that's the areas of the city we're buying in. And it's just so nice. They come into the houses, they love how the house looks, they care about their credit score.
Yeah.
They've never made late payments before. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just a totally different ballgame. The location changes everything.
And you're so right. I mean, going from what I don't know for sure, but sounds like C-class housing, the first attempt, right? It's just the area, the condition, it just attracts C-class tenants. And if you go
It does.
upscale and you go to a B, it attracts a different set of tenants, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, geographically speaking, like that first house you bought driving now, not the way the bird flies, but driving from the first house you bought to maybe your last couple of purchases, how far geographically are they? Is it like a mile? Is it like 2 miles, or what are we talking?
Maybe a mile.
Yeah, because that's what I want people to hear. You don't have to go very far, right? You know, sometimes it's a half a mile, right? You just cross this bridge or you cross this interstate and it just changes.
It's so crazy. It's like a road over from, there's one main street called King Street, and that kind of is the change from like nice to not as nice. And even some of the areas below it are nicer, but there's just a few streets, you
Yeah.
know, it's all different.
And that's, and folks, if you're an out-of-state investor, that's the stuff that you won't know, right? So many people are doing BRRRR today because they think it's easy. It's a chance to recycle capital. But let's just be real, right? You can get I don't know if I want to call it dishonest, but you know, somebody who's taken the best picture of the stuff on the other side of the tracks and making it look like this side of the tracks. And you're like doing your ARVs and going, oh, of course this ARV makes sense. It's only 3 blocks away. Yeah, I can use that. Well, no, you can't, because you just passed, what was it, what was the road?
Yeah, King Street.
King Street. Yeah. Sorry, buddy. If you're living in, you know, Mountain View, California, you're not going to know that King Street is the dividing line, and your ARVs will be vastly different, right?
Yes. And even the roads, some are one-way roads with barely any parking. You know, it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
all different.
You can't tell that from a picture, right?
Oh.
Picture doesn't show those subtle changes. So be careful. Learn your market. Learn your market. I'm curious, what have you noticed a rent difference? Like you thought you'd get 1,200. It sounds like that was a struggle. What are you getting today with the young professionals?
So right now, like a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, we just rented for 1,400.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a feeling we were maybe even a little low once people started coming in and talking to us, but that's okay. We have great tenants. And then right now we're rehabbing a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and we're going to do that for at least 1,400. Just the
Wow.
location it's in is so nice.
Just spot on, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, let's step back to the beginning, because I know an important start of everybody's journey is your why, right? Why did you and your husband with 2 little kiddos go, let's do this crazy thing called real estate, and specifically BRRRR? What attracted you to it? Why'd you sign up for this crazy life?
So my husband had always wanted to do something for ourselves. And, you know, I just was always like, oh, okay. And one night, finally, I was like, all right, like he wants us, let's think about it. So I got a pad of paper and we wrote down, I read, you guys kind of did this too. Like we wrote down like what kind of thing we could make or sell, or, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it just seemed, I don't know, not possible.
Yeah.
I didn't have any like idea that I was like in love with, or I don't know. So my brother and his wife invest in like rental homes
Yep.
in North Carolina on a lake.
Okay.
And we always loved that, but it was just a high barrier of entry for us, and it's not near where we live. And, you know, Adam, my husband, had mentioned long-term rentals, but it seemed like maybe it'd be very slow. I didn't really know much about it, right? You don't
Sure.
know what you don't know.
Right.
So I looked up a book and I ended up getting like How to Invest in Real Estate, the BiggerPockets book. I read the book. I went to Adam and I said, this is what we're doing. Let's find a realtor. We're buying houses, because I didn't know you didn't have to have tons of money. You know, you don't have to have 20% down for every property. And, you know, you should have, you know, reserves and everything, but you don't have to be rich to invest in real estate.
Yeah, that was again eye-opening for me, right? I remember in the beginning, it's like, you know, yeah, I'm not rich or I'm not a millionaire. I can't do that, but you really don't have to be, right? If you learn your market, you find a good deal, the money could be had, whether it's cash, a bank loan, hard money loan. There's lots of ways to go and do that. So let's talk about one of your most recent purchases. So we talked about a losing 10 grand, but it sounds like you've done some pretty nice transactions since there. Is there one that kind of stands out as like, yes, we did it?
So the one that we just finished, we're still into the property for $10,000. It's a BRRRR. We're into it for $10,000.
So you left 10 grand in it. Okay.
Yes, we left 10 grand in the deal. So we bought the property actually off of Craigslist.
Oh, okay.
For $92,000.
Okay.
There was a tenant, so we we gave the tenant, here, you only have to do 30 days. And he wanted to leave anyway.
Okay.
So we gave him 30 days. He left. And this was our first big rehab. And we decided to take it on ourselves.
Wow. Okay.
So
Whoa, brave.
my husband did a lot of the work. We subcontracted people, and we finally completed it a few months ago. So it was like an 8-month process. So, but we refinanced it. It appraised for 175.
Nice.
So we ended up pulling everything out but 10,000, which is basically the closing costs, to buy it and then to refinance it.
Sure.
And it rents for 1,400, and we just have really nice tenants in there, and we made the house look great, and it was just so nice. We really don't want to take on that much work ourselves again, but it's nice to understand what goes into these houses.
Yeah.
How to work with contractors was like a huge lesson.
Yeah. That's awesome. So let's talk about that, because there's a lot in that as well. So when you did the refinance, what equity did you leave in? 25%, 30%?
20%.
Okay, 20%. Okay, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do you expect your cash flow to be?
Our cash flow is $330 a month.
Right. So let's just round to 300. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, wow. So you must have, 8-month hold period, that 8 months of empty, that hurts a little.
Yeah. I mean, that's our $10,000 that's still in it right there.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I'm going 8 times 14. That's 12 something. So, okay. So that's cool. Again, your lessons learned. See, I love what you and Adam are doing, Nicole. You're taking action moving forward, and, you're not afraid to, I don't really want to call it a mistake, but make an error or learn from it. Right. Would you do that again? Probably not. Right. 8-month hold. That's expensive, especially if you have hard money. Also, your time is worth something, right? Adam, what does Adam do during the day?
He's a director of marketing, so he works full time. So he had to go on the weekends, and kids weren't thrilled. And
you mean they don't like painting houses? I mean, come on.
No, they would get kind of bored. They liked the iPad time, but
yeah, that's right. Screen time, right? Screen time.
Yes.
Right. And then Nicole, are you a stay-at-home mom, or do you work as well?
I'm a pharmaceutical rep, and
there you go.
This is part of my why also. So I have a great gig, I guess. So my mom works with me / for me, and she works 2 days a week, and I work 2 days a week. And then the other one is home with the kids, and I just don't ever want to be away from my kids.
That's awesome. That's a great why. Yeah. That is the most important job. I always say that when I get the opportunity, being a mom, or let's just say raising your kids, because a dad could do it as well. Raising your kids is the most important job out there. So
it's so
I like
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
All right. So where do you guys sit today, right? Your journey, your goal is $4,000 positive cash flow. You're at least 300. Where are you at total today, roughly?
So our total cash flow right now is 1,100, and we're currently working on a house that, as soon as we're done with it, which should hopefully be like another month or two, that'll be $300 also.
So
then we'll be at 14.
Wow. That's awesome.
So with this BRRRR, we seem to be able to get $300 cash flow. So we figured out it's another 8.6 houses.
8.6 houses. I love it. Let me know when you find a 0.6 house, because that'll be really interesting. That's funny. Oh, that's awesome. So have you noticed the market change at all? I'm curious, because you've been doing this roughly 2 years. I've seen a lot of change in my market, but I'm curious, if you've only looked at it the last 2 years, has it changed? Is inventory down or prices up? What's happened in Lancaster in 2 years?
The market is so hot. Like, even our ARV for that house I was telling you about, we thought it'd be 165. It was 175. I bet if we sold it, it would sell for 185. I mean,
appraisals are always low. Yeah, you might even get 199. I mean, it's crazy, right?
The market's so hot. And even the other day, I went to see a house through a wholesaler.
Sure.
And it's bad, but there were just so many people. I didn't even want to bid on it, because I thought, if I win, I'm going to think, oh, I overpaid. Yeah,
it is so weird. So one thing I always, if I have the opportunity, I share with folks is, I've been doing this 20 years in my market. And this is the most crazy market I've ever seen this last 4 months, really since like mid-April to like the end of September. I've never seen it like this. There's no supply. It's just weird.
Yes.
So I don't anticipate that lasting forever, but it could last till next April. So I guess what I'm saying is don't get discouraged if you're not finding that 8.6 houses as fast. Don't overpay. Don't go skinny, because some people get in your situation, just like with your first renter, right? It's been 3 months. It's been 4 months. It's been 5 months since you've done a deal. Don't do a skinny deal that says, oh, honey, we're not going to do 300 on this one. We'll do 150.
Mm-hmm.
That could blow you up long term. So I just want to encourage you not to overpay, I guess.
Yes, there's power in no.
Yes, thank you. Oh, I like that. There's power in no. That might be part of your title for your video. Power in no. Oh, I like that. All right, Nicole, what advice do you have? Because I'm going to call you an experienced BRRRR, investor now. If you have somebody else out there that's going to BiggerPockets or YouTube University, what are some things you'd want to tell them, right? If it was you, reading Brandon's book, I don't know, 2 years ago, what would you have wanted to hear?
I would say that anybody can do it. All you have to do is take action. If you want something bad enough, you're going to do it. Focus on the location and think about the kind of tenant you want and go from there.
Oh, I love that.
Like, I know the kind of tenant I wants central air conditioning.
Yep.
Think about the kind of tenant you want. There's different areas for everyone, and people can handle different things.
Yeah. I love that advice. Anyone can do it. Action, location, tenant. That's awesome. And it sounds like you self-manage, I'm guessing?
We do.
Yeah. How's that?
It.
Really? Oh my God. Did you just say you love managing tenants? I think there's something wrong with you. I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
So I read the book on property management by Brandon Turner and his wife.
Yeah.
And honestly, I took notes. I made a whole binder and I just follow the rules, and you have to treat everyone the same. It's the law.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I really, like, even before a tenant comes to see the house, they have to answer questions. And I'm kind of a stickler. Like, if someone emails me and they don't say like, oh, thank you, or if they don't sound kind, I won't get back to them when it comes to my house, because they're putting on their best foot then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Let's go forward. And
yeah. Well, Brandon Turner, if you ever watch this, you are helping people, buddy. So good on you. He lives in Hawaii now, that guy. Good for him.
I know, but I love your podcast. I love hearing about the economy. It's just something I don't know that much about, and I've listened on other shows, and sometimes they make it so boring or so difficult to understand. I just love hearing what you have to say about it. I think it's so great for everyone to understand what's going on with real estate. And
the beauty of what I do is I've been doing it for 20 years. I just now take notes and share my opinion, and I don't edit. I do it all live. I don't, because if it was not fun for me, I wouldn't do it. It's like, I don't need the money. Right. So, but if I can give back and help, so I'm glad somebody's watching. So thank you very much, Nicole. That was very nice.
So helpful. It's very helpful. And I loved your book. It taught me like to just be patient and celebrate what's going on, because you see that 4,000 goal and you want it now.
Yeah. Just keep. Yeah. That was a huge mistake I didn't even know I made, is I didn't celebrate the small wins. It would have just made the journey more fun, and I would have more good memories, because right now all I remember is the bad days. I wish I could remember some of the good days. So I'm glad you picked up on that. Any other closing thoughts or anything you want to kind of share with the audience out there?
I just think real estate is great. I think it's a great way to get financial freedom and to be able to follow your dreams, and anyone can do it. Yeah.
Actually, I want to talk about one more topic, because I love the 4,000 goal. It's specific. Did you and your husband sit down and have a real heart-to-heart, like, honey, what's the minimum we need? Or where did the 4,000 come from?
So we did, actually. We took all of our bills and then groceries, because we spend a lot in groceries.
Yeah. And you're
And
going to
so
be
that,
spending more as the kids get older, just so you know.
oh my gosh, I can't imagine Costco. Whew. But so that was 4,000, and we're working on like paying off, like his car's paid off, mine is 2 more payments. Yay.
Yay.
Um
So that will lower the 4,000, or will the goal always be 4,000?
it'll lower the 4,000, but I want the goal to be
Yeah,
4,000.
it should be 4,000. Okay, good.
Yes.
All right.
So that's our first goal. And then after that, we're going to have like 7,500 because I think that would really
Ah,
do like almost everything. Then we need to account for, I guess, insurance for our family if we ever decided we weren't going to work or,
yeah.
but
Okay, so let's talk. So 4,000 is not your freedom number. It's not, we're done.
no.
It's just, okay, got it. So 4,000 is the first step. 7,500 is the next step. Yes, you will need insurance. Oh, by the way, it's my most expensive thing every month. I did not
Yeah.
expect that. It's like $2,000. It's crazy. So yeah, so your freedom number might be more like 10 grand.
Yes, but so for 4,000, what I was thinking too, like if one of us lost our jobs,
Right.
we would be fine.
Yeah.
Like we wouldn't have to worry.
I think
It
that's
would be
great.
fine,
Yeah, I
you
think
know?
4,000
So
is a wonderful goal. I think too many people put, 100 units, 1,000 units, just some stupid arbitrary number that sounds cool on social media. No,
mhm.
as you and your husband did, you and Adam did, you sat down, you threw your bills on the table and said, where are we? And I love the goal of 4,000. I love that you broke it down to 8.6 houses because you can just tick them off. So I think Nicole, you and Adam are doing some amazing things. And do you have a time frame? You think you'll be there in 3 years ish?
We want to be there. I said too last night. Adam said by the end of next year. So
Whoa, I
we're
like it. Well, I'm gonna follow you on Instagram. Do you want to share with everybody what your Instagram handle is?
sure. It's Flip and Hold Family.
Yeah. It's really fun to watch. You guys are putting out videos. I love the row houses. We don't have those in California. Those
Okay.
just all, yeah, like you said, Brooklyn, right? It's very Brooklyn like. So very,
Yes.
very cool.
I just started Instagram, so I'm not great with it, but it's cool. I got to meet you.
Exactly. There you go. All right, Nicole, well, I want to wish you the best of luck. Thank you very much for doing this. It will truly help people. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
All right.